gonna get our acceleration here. Ooh. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're gonna be going over a 2021 Chevy Suburban in the High Country package. So first and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry H. Miller Chevy here in Murray for providing us with the Suburban. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get right into the video. Now, under the hood is a naturally aspirated 6.2 liter V8 that goes to a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 14 around town and then 19 on the highway, with power outputs being 420 horsepower and then 460 pound-feet of torque. Now, let's go over the front end on the Suburban, and you can see that the front end on the Suburban is identical to the front end on a Tahoe. Just had to put that out there. But you can see that the hood is pretty much similar to what they have on a 1500 series truck. And then we can see over at the lights, I mean, those are pretty much identical. And then I like the little accent light that comes down below. And then, by the way, this is how you tell this is a High Country. You've got this kind of like copper-ish looking trim is the best color for me to describe it with. But there is a High Country badge right there. Parking sensors all along the front end. But overall, I think the front end is really good looking. Coming around here, we've got two 75mm tires on 22-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And I like the design on it because it's got like the gloss chrome there in the center. I think it's just a cool look. High Country right there, Suburban, so you know it's the big bad boy long wheelbase. And we actually have to go to the other side so you guys can get a good side view on it. So yeah, there's the side view so you can see how massive the Suburban is. Now here is the key fob on the Suburban. You guys can see there's a couple functions. There is the unlock, the lock, you've got the remote start, the release for the hatch, and then that is the release for the window on the hatch. Remote start's pretty simple. Just press that twice and it starts right up. It's really easy to use with the remote start, so like, yeah, no gimmicks or anything like that. Press that again and that'll shut it back off. Again, this pops open the window. It's just that window right there, but if you press the other function twice, that is what will open up the rear hatch. And this right here is the biggest benefit of a Suburban over a Tahoe, is the extra space you get here. So again, I will have a comparison video soon so you guys can kind of see the differences between the two, but you can see just like so much space. Still get a power outlet back here, and then this actually folds down the second row. This is for the third row. Now you just press that and the L stands for left, and you can see that folds it right down, and press it again and then that'll pick the third row back up. Pretty straightforward, really easy to use. And then when you're all done, all you have to do is just press this right here and then it'll slow lower down the rear hatch. Finishing things up in the back, you guys know I love the design language in general on the new Tahoes and the Suburbans. The lights are really cool, so I think this is kind of funny. It almost looks like a duck, so you can imagine the head and the neck, and then this is like the bill right here, which is pretty interesting. But I like the LED lights in general, and then you've got the Suburban logo right back there. Exhaust tips look really solid, but just like a really sleek and more modern design in general. Coming here to the side, just press that and that'll unlock the door, and then you guys can see the running boards will actually pop out right there. So looking at the panel here in the rear, I really like the wood trim that goes across, and you can see you've got kind of like brownish stitching that goes along with that. Just really nice materials on the door, and you got the smoother leather just down here as well. Little window control right here, and then here are the seats. The seats are really interesting. So again, you've got kind of like that brownish stitching, and then you've got the perforations which have the brown within them as well. So just really nice with all of that. And you can see the adjustments on the seats pretty well labeled. But let's actually pop in. So stepping in, step in height is really solid. If you guys are wondering, I'm about 5'11", and I mean legroom super good. Got the climate controls right here for the rear, and then they do have heated seats in the back of this as well. A couple of cup holders, and with this little chair right here, you can see that you can fold it forward. Super easy to pick up and put back into place with the full headrest right there. And then you can see the seats here in the rear again. Good amount of headroom, but legroom is a little bit less. The seat is super far forward, so you slide it back on the track and the legroom will be a little bit more cramped. Got some cup holders back there though. Now coming here to the side, we've got keyless entry at the front as well, and then you can see the running boards will pop back open. Now looking at the door panel, we've got really nice wood trim, and then you've got all of the leather throughout here with all of the stitching, and then you've got the unlock and the lock, and then you got the mirrors right here with all of the window controls as well, memory seats on top of that, and then here's the seats at the front. It says High Country there at the top, and again you've got the black, and you can see just with the perforations, all the brown they've embedded into that looks really good, and they feel nice to the touch. There's your adjustments on the side of the seat, and then here are the pedals at the bottom, and then over here you can see there's a bunch of controls. So you've got this for the parking brake, that's your lane departure assistance control, your parking sensors, your auto stop start, that's for the outlets, stability control, and then the hill descent control. This is the drive line select, and then with the drive modes right there, and then those are for the lights. Your trailer brake control is already integrated, and then that is the adjustment on the steering wheel with the radio controls on the back. Now to start it up, foot in the brake, and everything will come to life. Woo! Here's the steering wheel in the High Country, smooth leather all the way around, and then you got the black stitching on the center, and then you can see this trim right here is just really nice. And then over here, this is the controls to the center stack. You've got the voice command controls and the phone controls. That is the collision assistance, and then the heated steering wheel, and then the cruise control on the other side. Then you got the stock for the windshield wipers, and that's all she wrote for the steering wheel. Now over here, you've got the RPMs on the left side, and the right side, you've got the speed, and then there in the center, you can see that there's a bunch of controls. So you've got the home screen, the information right there, the music, navigation, you've got the phone controls, and then the settings as well. So everything you control through there, really easy to use. And then you can see the little digital gauges right above it. Again, pretty neat. Now over here, we can see that we've got the center screen, which is a touchscreen. Response time on it is super solid. I mean, you can see it just happens pretty much instantaneously with the response, and everything you press, I mean, just right away. You've got the navigation, Android Auto, and Apple CarPlay. Now, this is the coolest part, is the camera system. So you can see there's a bunch of different camera views with the vehicle itself. Super easy to use. I mean, it literally shows you everything on the vehicle. So like from a camera perspective, it's got you covered. Here is the gear selector. So you can see you've got the park, reverse, neutral, drive, and then you can see you've got the low gearing, and then you can shift the gears yourself with those little buttons right there. Pretty simple to use. And then you got the leather with the brown stitching again. Got the vents right there. And then down below, you can see you've got the analog controls for the radio. Got the analog controls for the dual zone climate system. I should say tri-zone climate system, because there is a rear climate. If you press this, that'll pop it up on the center screen right there. And then you do get heated seats and ventilated seats, and then you can change where the heat comes from on the seats, which is pretty neat. Now you can see right here, you've got a little 12 volts, and then you got a USB wireless phone charging right here. A couple of cup holders, and then with the center console, again, more of that nice stitching, and then opening it up, it is massive with the center console. And then coming over here, we've got the glove box, which decent amount of storage space as well. Got stitching all across, and then you got the leather, wood trim on everything, like all of it up here. It's just super nice material wise. Now up top here, we can see, ooh, got a panoramic sunroof, really nice. Got the controls for the universal garage door openers. That is for the tailgate, you can see, and then you got the seat controls, and then you've got the controls for the panoramic sunroof just down below. Pretty straightforward, but that's everything for the top. Now let's go over the pricing here on the Suburban High Country. So in terms of pricing, this sticker is for about $81,000 for any type of market adjustment. So if you guys remember from my video on the Yukon XL, which is the GMC version of this, it's about the same exact price. So yeah, depends on if you like the High Country Tahoe more, or sorry, Suburban, or if you like the Yukon XL more. Just kind of up to you. But that all being said, let's take her out and see how she drives. So let's quickly show you guys visibility here. So you can see visibility of the hood, super solid. And then there's your visibility through both of the mirrors. And then you can see throughout the mirror as well with that little camera. Pretty nice. Definitely helps out with the third row. Obviously, it's a long SUV. And so that definitely helps out a ton just with the visibility from the back. And that all being said, let's set off. We are setting off here in the Suburban, and first and foremost, from a ride quality perspective, you guys know that I think these are exceptionally smooth. Well, it's just because they are. Even though they have 22-inch wheels, they're really smooth. They just kind of float along just really nice. So if you want like a nice smooth ride, super solid. Comparing this to the Tahoe, because I just drove one right before this, which is perfect, it feels about the same. Like, I wish I could say, hey, a little bit bigger vehicle, ride smoother. It feels about the same. I can't really perceive a difference between the two. So, I mean, that's good if you want the Tahoe and you were worried about the ride quality on it, but yeah, they're the same. And coming up here with the brakes, yeah, the brakes are really solid as well. It's really windy outside today, and from a perspective of noise coming into the cabin, it's actually really well insulated, so you're solid on that as well. And I'm gonna throw on my AC seat so I'm a little bit cooler, but taking a turn here, yeah, it's not intimidating at all to drive. It doesn't feel like huge where you're like, oh my goodness. It's actually pretty easy to drive in general, so you're really solid on that as well. And well, I guess we can just have people jaywalk here. We got to go real slow so that nothing crazy happens, but yeah, so far really solid. Well, now we're gonna get our acceleration here. Ooh. Yeah, Yeah, that's 6.2 liter V8 is gnarly. So again, I'm going to compare this back to the Tahoe. Doesn't feel any quicker than the Tahoe, doesn't feel any slower either. It feels about the same, so you don't suffer from that perspective either. And the acceleration on this in general is really solid, so if you want like a good accelerating SUV, it's definitely a really good option. And that'll get me into summing things up. So a lot of people always go back and forth Tahoe to Suburban, and really the only benefit of getting the Suburban is just the fact you get that extra storage in the back. Other than that, it looks about the same, a little bit longer. Feels the same with the driving, with the acceleration, with the handling, all of it feels about the same. You don't really lose out on anything. So just like as an overall package, it's about the same as the Tahoe. You just get more storage space. So if you want more storage space, get the Suburban. If you want less storage space, get the Tahoe. Compared to other vehicles in this segment, I think it's really solid. The price point, I mean, it's right where it needs to be. I know it seems really expensive, but it's a truck and it's a third row SUV basically. And so you get like the dual use of it. Obviously you don't get the truck bed aspect, but you get really good towing capacity out of this. And then again, you get that third row aspect, and I love this High Country package. Like, it's just so nice on the interior. So again, just like as an overall package, super solid. Definitely recommend at least looking into one. If you're like someone who's like, hey, I want to buy a truck, but then I also have a million kids to carry around, boom, this is exactly what that's made for. So yeah, check out the new Suburban. Now, that is going to sum things up for our video on the 2021 Chevy Suburban. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry H. Miller Chevy here in Murray for providing us with the Suburban. Check out their inventory in the link below. I will see all of you in that next video.